few moments, guys. Hopefully we'll be ready to go soon. There we go. Alright, let's jump on into the top left-hand side. Our blue Zerg player is Solar from Onsyde Gaming. And his opponent in the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player from Team Liquiad, this is Clem. I see a lot of people talking about Clem weak to Korean Zergs. I don't even know if it's weak to Korean Zergs, just more so that Clem obviously plays a very micro-intensive, very action-packed style that relies on some very quick reactions and being everywhere. And obviously, most of the time when he plays Korean Zergs, he has to play on the NA server because we have very few in-person events, right? So, yeah, I don't know if it's more just the server sometimes that makes it tough for him than just a generic weakness to Korean Zerg players, you know? So, and just because, like, you know, everyone has server issues, right? Everyone has that lag online, but Clem's style specifically really gets hurt a little bit more by latency, right? So yeah. Let's find out, guys, as we go into it. Cosmic Sapphire for map number 1 is a beneficial map to Solo. It's got a gold base, it's big, there's bases aplenty. This really should be one he has a good opening. You would hope he has a good opening on, otherwise he'll be in quite some trouble if he doesn't. Natural gas and the pool all on the way up from Solo. A couple of drones are being brought into play. So far, so good. Should have had Solo play Galzer and Mary play Clem. Well, that's not how the league works, though, is it? That's not quite how it works. These players get sent out in an order of 1, 2, 3, and obviously they both send their orders in blindly, and then boom, you get the matchups. What happens if then both 3-3? If they both goes to 3-3, then it's a best of 1 ace match. Each team can send forward whichever player they want, even someone who's already played, and they just play a best of 1 to decide the series. So the first 3 matches are fully set up, and they're guaranteed no matter what. We play 6 maps, even if it's like a 6-0 or something, right? But the 7th map isn't played unless it's needed, basically. Obviously, not much hype in playing an ace match 7th game when it's already 6-0. But it's still nice to see all of the guaranteed maps. It also helps the league to kind of guarantee a certain length of broadcast and stuff. You know you're guaranteed at least 12 games on a broadcast day, so typically they feel like that's worthwhile to them. Zero Ammo, thank you so much for the 25-month resub. Welcome back. Starboard on the way up from Clem here. He is playing a 3cc opening. No surprises there. He loves his 3cc. He loves his macro. Got that hood up today as well. I was just noticing that as well. I was like, man, I feel like Clem usually has just no hood up or anything, but today, hood up. Serious business being meant right now, apparently. Reaper has a Creep Jimmy kill under its belt, so nice to slow down Solo that little bit early on. Just little advantages that could, you know, peak later in the game. It's not the biggest of deals, but like I say, for now it's one of the biggest things you can get rid of at this point in time. So it's still nice to be able to grab that and to just slow things down in general. T-pose will lower, Hellions will be producing, popping out shortly as Reaper Hellions together will advance forward and just come and knock Queen back a little bit, so some damage being dealt there. And just going to continue the Hellion and the Reaper onto a drone that becomes a Spore Crawler, able to knock that down as well. So doing pretty well across the board there. Banshee going to move into Cloak. As the Banshee gets the Cloak set up, a couple of Hellions are still being brought through. I'm just going to be seeing I'm in a situation where he's going to have just a lot of harassment potential with the Banshee, with the Hellions. We'll just have options here. As whoa, he's going to slip by into the natural, decides not to. The Lings were there. And obviously, if you slip by the Queens, that's great. But if the Lings are there, it slows you down enough that it doesn't really matter. This committed Overlord from Solar is meant to go down. It got the scout it wanted. It confirms Cloak on the starboard. It saw a Banshee spawning as well. So that really was pretty much just best case scenario you could have asked for out of all of that. It's now our Hellions, our Queens. They're pulled back around over to the right-hand side instead, so... yeah, not quite able to make your way through just yet. Not quite able to burst across to the other side as this Banshee will come up and just going to aim for a drone or two perhaps. We're going to hit once and we're not quite going to hit twice as the Queen gets there, the Spore Crawler's there, and the Banshee is going to end up pushed away. What's the Paz the Bears? How you doing? Thank you so much for the 15-month resub. Will I be casting in Atlanta? I will be casting Atlanta. I will not be in Atlanta. One of us will be. We will be in Sweden casting. The Banshee is coming through and getting some drone kills, so a few workers starting to go down. It's just going to be seeing this Queen being picked away, being pushed to the side. The Hellion has shown up again, just maintaining pressure. Not getting a chance at a big set of drones yet, but still just threatening as Clem loses one Banshee. He gets a few drones finally, so able to slow Solar down a little bit eventually here. Gonna go for this mineral line again. Solar pulls away, finds a drone that was just coming across. It's so close because you're moments away from finding like a stack of drones as they pull out. A little bit sad to not quite find those as he gets so close so many times. So obviously very happy that Clem doesn't find that, otherwise that would have been quite problematic. Trying to find a new place for this, guys. Hang on. Hang on, sorry. There's no good place to put it. Holy crap, I guess up here. Alright. Sorry for that, guys. Marine's going to show up and we're just going to be seeing a stim forward and just going to be seeing Queen's taking a little bit of damage and just going to be seeing if they can get anything done. I mean, plenty of units here from Solar. Clem obviously just has the lift up and escape option with the medevac, so we'll utilize that fully. As the Hellions just kind of left at home during this job just in case of a counterattack. Solar is very good at counterattacking. He's very good at run-bys, very dangerous. One of the main things you want to keep on top of is the fact that he's not going to be able to do too much. I was going to say Solar did not start his Carapace upgrade on time. I was trying to double check he didn't start it like super early and it wasn't finished already, but the APM was up when I was trying to look at it and I got distracted. So, yeah, this is just going to be a situation where Solar, a little bit late on the Carapace, could have an effect when you're playing against 1-1 bio already. And look at Clem's army supply, by the way, 102 to 66 of Solar. Is Solar just in like a ton of trouble here already? Is this like just a little bit of harassment Clem being a bit too much? We make our way to Hydras. Hydras will help a little in terms of pushing this back, turning it around. Clem back on the top right-hand side, trying to hit down this hatchery while units are elsewhere. The Baneling run-by does nothing, blows up one single depot. Fifth base denied, and Clem is able to pick that off straight away. So a strong start here for Clem as the Banshee comes around the other side and is going to start chipping through a couple of these drones. And this is just a late-game Banshee, right? I mean, kept from alive from earlier, gets 2 more drones. Clem doesn't want to think about it much more now, so just uses it up. Away a little bit more creep spread and continue to just open up areas on this map right now. Solar, Infestation Pit is coming, and boy, could he do with getting in towards the Lurker Den, the Hive, and those Lurker upgrades. That's going to be Solar's eventual plan, but getting there is not going to be easy when Clem is hounding you down. He's keeping this base denied over here, grabs an Overlord, and Solar is supply blocked of all things. See a few Overlords on the way to replace that loss. Oh, that's Marines still pushing through and just going to try and get a bit of a fight going here. We've got a lot of Widow Mines, so Soul has to be very careful attacking into this. There's so many Marines that the few units he's like trailing forward to try and soak the mines are going down very quickly. Now Clem stands and fights in a bit of a concave. All the numbers enough for Clem to really keep on pushing here. He's got to be careful. He's out of mine shots. No, he isn't. He's actually got a few mines in the back, but they all go towards the medevacs. Oh my goodness. Almost had a 4GG moment there as the medevacs all took a chunk of damage. Ouch. Alright, well, numbers are going to even out a little bit here. And there's Clem, not going to notice on the right side. He's going to lose this drop. He kept that drop active for a long time as well. I think Clem now lost a lot of his mind, so he isn't going to have the splash to really continue through. As Hive comes up from Solar, Clem moves his way into the Ghost Academy. Extra command centers are on the way in as well, so continue to bring those up. He's starting to make tanks too, because he knows that tanks can be very good against the Lurker phase of this game. Even just the Hydra phase as well, as we do see Clem having to pull back here. This is off creep, so it should help Clem quite a bit, and that tank will survive to get a couple more shots off. Big group of Banes at the end being knocked down, so a fantastic final connection there. A little bit of bio still just pushing through, and Clem taking this position, pushing that tank further up as well, just getting it closer and closer to being able to succeed. Just being very annoying as there you go, Solar going to pull the trigger once again. Not a lot of creep here to work with, so straight away you're fighting off creep. The Banes cannot connect in anywhere near as easily. And that's going to be one of Solar's main issues right now, trying to, well, yeah, have that creep spread kind of back forward in the front of the map. Meanwhile, we've not really looked back at Clem's bases for a long time. Not much going on there. He's added CCs, he's adding production. He is going to need to start 3-3 at some point. Those upgrades not yet on the way, so that's something you would kind of hope that Clem will invest back into at some point. Going to try and press on forward. The few Lings and Banes taking damage. We do have Lurkers here. Of course, Clem was setting up for the Ghost Academy a while ago. Don't think we've seen any Ghosts made just yet. Man, his medevacs are so far forward. I thought they would have been shot down by now. And it's just going to be seeing Hydras at Banes coming through. Another tank siege, and the Bioforce will continue to pull away. The Ling Bane still wants to get forward here. Is just going to be seen. I mean, one of the tanks just about surviving at the very end. And now on the left-hand side, Clem's going to catch Solar off guard. And an attack which is actually going to go very well for Clem. He finds himself a hatchery kill on the left. And that is one of the few times Solar's not really been prepped for a fight and prepped for the multi-prong. And Bio pulling across this side now. Just going to be seeing the creep spread. Taking a few more shots. Here comes the Ling Bane moving through. I think Medivacs may have to evacuate here. We have a parasitic bomb though, so you can't just lift up freely. It would have been punished if you lifted up. You would have lost the units inside because the Medivac is going to go down. Solar trying to maintain some of his drones. Clem, yeah, slowing it down a moment or two. It's not been too many lurkers yet, so Clem doesn't want to add too many ghosts in case he gets overrun just by Ling Bane. That's the drop, which obviously gets a little bit away from the Medivac, so that cannot be saved. And by Solar, a few moments of calm as he gets the Nidus set up too, wants to put some pressure onto Clem himself. Obviously, that is Clem's major goal right now, to not take damage like that. That would be game-ending if he did let a Nidus into a main base or on top of production, etc. Close game, as Solar comes down the right-hand side. He's given us the game that this series deserves so far, I have to say, is, of course, 2-2. A 1-0 will guarantee you an ace match. A 2-0 puts you into a straight-up victory. 1-1, obviously, eventually does force the ace match on either side. Clem has sensor towers galore, so going to be hard to catch him off guard anyway. I'm not sure where that Nidus is. I don't think it's in any of Clem's bases. I think it's just a maneuvering Nidus network, you know, putting it on one of his own bases so you can escape more easily. I'm going to find a way up the right-hand side. Wants to get this hatchery, but the Lings are quick to get there. Massive Widowmine connection. My goodness, that was a ton of Lings. I mean, Solar didn't lose any Lings to the Marines, and he rebuilds 30 immediately, so that was a huge Widowmine shot for Clem. Wow. That was actually gigantic. I mean, that was just... You don't see mine shots like that every day, put it that way. The thing I think is really good for Clem here is that Solar hasn't harassed at all. You know, Clem's never been slowed down on economy. He's getting bases up pretty freely. And that really shows a lot of control in this game for Clem. It doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to win, but it means that he doesn't have to worry about a lot of the things that Terran would typically worry about in these sort of situations. He left the Ghosts behind here as well, by the way, so they don't get in trouble with Banelings before, you know, they're really needed in a fight, because they weren't really needed in this fight. So leaving those in the back. Good parasitic bombs. Clem's biggest issue, I think, might just be medevac production. It feels like he doesn't have enough medevacs to stay alive in the game at this point, which is truly just a case of, yeah, I mean, parasitic bombs have been taking them down repeatedly. And without Medivacs, you don't quite have that, oh crap, I'm in a bit of trouble, let's just kind of get out of here sort of thing that you can do. So yeah, it would be nice to be a little bit careful of that, as you do have Siege Tank picking away at and killing off, I believe, this Nidus network. That should indeed go down. Vipers still just gathering together. Lingbane Hydra setting up as well. And we do see these units from Solar coming down the right side. Marines are going to stem up a storm and going to back it up a little bit. A few more Banes being picked away at there. Hydra's chased away once more. Now to the left-hand side, we will go and pick our way through this base. So the gold is just unprotected. I mean, gold's not easy for the Zerg to protect because there's so little creep on the map. I'm just finding this before he really gets any mining out of it. It's just nice. It's just investment from Solar that unfortunately didn't go anywhere at all. Nice try to take it, but Clem is very right to deny that ASAP. And obviously should keep him in a bit more of a comfortable position here, all said and done. And the Banes wanting to maybe try and help chase things down. Just going to be seeing a couple snipes coming down as well as the scan on the left revealing a little bit. Have a little bit of a dive here from Solar. Clem didn't really have a lot of units here, so Solar kind of collapses on this position. Clem is, yes, overrun. However, you've got to ask yourself, does Solar open himself to weaknesses elsewhere? I mean, right now, Clem, if he could attack the top right-hand side, would probably find a lot of success. Solar continuing to run Banelings in. He needs to get this planetary fortress here. Double planetary protecting this location. Obviously, now he'll probably just lift an orbital up and replace this space. I like that he doesn't place the orbital that's right next to the base, because that orbital actually helps a lot in terms of, you know, basically sim citying. So by not using that one, he keeps that sim city there as well, which might help him further down the line. Here's a group of units moving top right. He should get a bunch of drones out of this, like I say. Solar was completely committed in the bottom left, so yeah, I'm surprised Clem didn't get here sooner with these units. I'm not sure. I mean, obviously he was perhaps just caught, you know, being a bit busy himself. He was going to deny this space, that Rich Vest being gassed, not being allowed to set up, not giving Solar that little boost of income. Solar's Nidus network attempts are still being denied. Credit to Clem, he's been very good about that. And I'm not sure what he's going to try and do in that bottom left corner. He obviously just needed a scan to get rid of the couple of lings there. I think that's a scan to see if there's still an Overlord or Overseer in that little gap to know if he needs to worry about a Nidus right now. There's currently no sensor tower on the bottom left side, and I think replacing that would just give him a little bit more comfort in knowing if there's an Overseer trying to slip by or not. As 18 minutes in on Cosmic Sapphire, this really has been a terrific game between the two of them. Both have had their moments, both have had their successes, as we are now going to move this CC in place. Obviously didn't want to morph that into an orbital. That needs to be a planetary to defend that spot. As Clem might get caught here, he's going to get pincered in from the right and from the left. Widowmine Burrows, if that can target well, it might do something. I think he got killed off before anything else. Where's the left side attack from Solar? I felt like Solar was meant to have loads of units coming in from the left there, and they just never arrived. I thought this was a real pincer, like I said at the time. I was like, it's a pincer, he's coming in, the flying this around, but no. And Solar actually supply blocked off losing Overseers here, suddenly can't build as much as he'd like to, and Clem pushing forward with a 40 army supply lead. Solar might have just picked one too many bad fights right there, and now Clem pushing up the left side. Having a good time of it. A lurker puts itself in position on a harassing base. As planetary is not yet done, as these ghosts want to decide what they want to do. Again, it's not really very lurker heavy, I think. Solar knows he doesn't want to play too many lurkers because the ghosts from Clem will just do too well. Sniping what we can here, those. The ghosts will live. Planetary Fortress actually cancelled, and will now just rebuild as we get rid of that lurker. Clem with a supply lead, bank lead, and a significant army lead. He does trail a bit in workers, but he has plenty of orbitals, plenty of mules available. I don't think worker count is the biggest issue for Clem here just yet. I'm just going to pull back a little further as we do see Widowmines here to try and help out with this force pushing in. Snipe's already good. Snipes down the Vipers as well. Solar is this is not a fight you want to take, I don't think. I think the Ghosts are already nicely pre-split. They're not going to be in too much trouble. These Banes are running into splash damage as well. Yeah, I mean, Solar is just not going to have enough at all. And he very much so knows it, as you can see. Taps out there, and Clem is going to take this game. Little smile from Clem, but it's not done yet. What a stellar game of TVZ. Absolutely top-notch between these two. absolutely what we wanted to see go shot for the numbers or so. I don't know. Let's get into this one. It is going to be Solar. Bottom left-hand side of Tropical Sacrifice for map 2. And he needs to win it as Clem in the top right. If he wins this series is his. Again, if Solar wins, we get an ace match. That is how things are lined up today in the World Team League. Two of the S players. Maru, Dark. I don't think Reynold has an S, right? I think Reynold's just an A. And Solar has 500k near and Clem nearly 250k. Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, so Solar will get a 5 in earnings and Clem only gets a 2 in earnings. But obviously, like, if Solar just earned a couple 100,000 more, he'd be an A, right? Like, it's so arbitrary. The whole point, guys, is that it's just meant to be a fun little thing for us to compare people with and just to see a couple players' strengths and stuff. Like, some people try and take it a bit too seriously. Need the Wardy paint hexagons. Well, the paint hexagons are... you know, when we first had the hexagons, I started to make my own hexagons as well, because I actually was like, yeah, I'm going to make my own hexagons, and, you know, we'll see if we agree. I mean, we actually did agree. Like, we did this for the entire first day of the first time we had hexagons, and literally all of my scores were within, like, 1 or 2 of all the scores that they gave. I was like, huh. Turns out that, if you both watch a lot of StarCraft, you both probably have the pretty much same opinions on the players. Interesting. Funny that, isn't it? Turns out they're not as random as some people like to be. Reaper is going to pop down here and is just going to go in to hang around a little bit. Just going to see our Ling taking a little bit of damage for the moment. Pops out. We've been taking some shots. With the ramp up into the high ground here, it will be difficult for Clem to get the creep tumor kill he got last time. Woohoo! Playing with fire as the Reaper goes to the last hit of life. Nice to keep the Reaper alive because you want to be able to scout for roaches, etc. You don't want to be caught off guard with your first scout being Hellions moving across the map. I do have the starport from Clem, and once again 3cc. So Clem so far playing the same as what he played in game number 1. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I do feel like Clem was really multiple times like a split second away from potentially being taking some like very, very good hits on drones. You know, he definitely pushed Solar a little bit in that early game defense. And if he does something similar again, I could see Solar just maybe slipping for that 1 second and maybe like 10 drones go down at once. And that's sort of the knock-on effect that Clem wants, because if Solar had lost any more drones than he did, he already had trouble kind of keeping up with Clem initially. And so Clem really would probably just find a breaking point much sooner. Reaper, 2 Hellions pressing forward. Ooh, Clem's going to completely mix it up. Concussive Shells and Marauders. He's going to go for a pretty aggressive Hellbat attack here. I like it. It is off 3cc, so you got a bit of macro behind this, but this is 100% looking to deal some damage, looking to get something done early, looking to push things into his favor, and maybe just catch Solar off guard. Look at Solar, late Baneling Nest. Right, nothing really at all. He's going to see the Viking, and the Viking's going to deny any further information. So you don't really get info here as Solar. Is that enough to maybe get you concerned about the fact of what this could be on a follow-up? Clem right now just picks off a creep tumor on the bottom side. These queens are so far forward as well. If they got caught by Marauders right now, they'd be in trouble. So that's something else that Clem can maybe get by killing off these creep tumors. Forcing these queens to move around a couple different ways could open the opportunity for him to do very well there. Is just looking in this side. Reaper takes the damage. You don't want the Hellions to take damage because they're going to be morphing into Hellbats. That damage percentage that they hold when they morph into Hellbats does transfer over. And here come all the Hellions. Soul's going double Evo chamber. No sign of a Baneling Nest or anything. The Overlord going to start getting aggressive now. And we are moments away from the Medivac and Marauders showing up to really put Soul into a little bit of a question mark position. Because right now, I really do not feel like he has what he needs. As yeah, the Ling count definitely is not good enough right away here at all, is it? He needs more than that. Uh-oh, Solar's in some trouble just because as well, these Queens are taking a lot of damage early, and the Medivac stays alive a very long time. The Lings try to get to the back side of this to get on top of the Marauders. Now the Medivac goes down. A few Lings here doing a really good job. On top of the Marauders, exactly where they want to be, forcing the Marauder shots onto Lings instead of the Queens. Clem continues to give chase, and he's continuing to cut down this Queen count. That is his main goal here, right? Get rid of the Queen count, bring that low as possible, force a lot of units from Solar. Remember that Clem has 3 CC behind this, so his economy behind this is pretty good. Clem, that's going to be the end of this. This one Reaper is not going to get away. Get a Marine out on the side, that's going to die now as well. Resources lost is pretty even across the board, maybe a little bit favorable to Soul with no gas being used. The Lib will try and siege in the main. The Spore will relocate instantly. And Clem's going to have to unsiege and relocate that Spores. He is going to have a little bit of trouble here, isn't he? Definitely trailing just a little bit more than I think he'd like to be. That Spore's going to get a kill on the Lib because he's busy dealing with the Ling run-by, so not turning out too well. In the end, good defense from Solar, but you've got to remember it's a lot of his Queens that go down. That's going to hurt the creep spread. That's going to hurt some injects. It is going to have an effect on Solar's game. I guess my big issue is Clem just down a few too many SCVs all said and done by the end of this. Down by about 20 right now, obviously doesn't seem great. He does have his third base in location that got harassed a little. Obviously no Hellions to help him protect. I think one of the things got to just bring back up is just how well Solar did with the Lings. He really got them past the Hellbat and onto the Marauders, and that combination really went a long way to him being successful there, because it wastes a lot of Marauder shots. The Hellbats weren't cleaning them up anywhere near as quickly as they should be. And that, I think, definitely has a bit of an impact as well on just how much that attack was able to do. Clem does have Stim. He's got his first Medivacs. He will begin to harass, clean up some of this creep spread, obviously. And he still has a few Hellions that are looking for opening, seeing if he can find a way in or not. To just try and build up further bits of damage here. This is going to move forward. A little bit of creep starting to go down. The Hellbats back up through the middle here as well, as you just have our Hellbats trying to play. Just going to have our Banelings crashing in. And I mean, if Banelings hit Hellbats, you're not too worried. Baneling speed is moments away, though, so Clem's going to be in a bit more trouble here shortly. Obviously, so far, good pressure, but it should be coming to somewhat of a close sooner rather than later at this point. Very important game. Obviously, Liquid would love to avoid that ace match, as previously mentioned. Onsyde would love to not lose this series, naturally. Although maybe not as big a deal for Onsyde, who are already still in a great position, but it might make the difference of them winning the regular season or not. Obviously, slipping up unnecessarily can be costly. They are the only undefeated team, by the way, still this season, Onsyde Gaming. Everyone else has lost one, so if they stay undefeated, that's an easy way to winning the regular season. If you win the regular season, you start in the grand finals of the playoffs. It's kind of a good deal. Dropping the main base will honestly not do too well. Solar protects that pretty nicely as Clem turn around. We'll get rid of a couple creep teamers here and there. Again, just doing what he can. I think Clem's got to play a bit of a slow game here. Slower than he would like, because as he gets to 4 bases, I mean, can Solar just... Ooh, it feels like Solar's going to go for this. I was going to say, at some point, Solar's going to have a 2-2 upgrade lead over 1-1, but Solar might just attack right now. First Widowmine here is going to be massive on the right-hand side. Solar! No, the Widowmine was insane over there. Now we don't have anywhere near as many Zerglings. Banelings do crash forward. This is only an orbital on defense. The planetary would have been on the right side, but it wasn't ready yet. As Clem looking to keep this together. He hasn't really lost many SCVs yet. Now losing 5, and he has a lot of them retreating to the top side. And Medivac evacuating some of those. As Clem clearing off a lot of the Lings that come in reinforcing here. So he is getting a lot more value towards the tail end of this battle. What a great first Widowmine from Clem. That first Widowmine was insane, because without that, he might have actually just been overrun to the point of no return. Now, This feels a little bit more doable again from Clem. Solar obviously was fairly committed here, like it's not all in or anything, but he didn't start an infestation pit up until this was done, so he was not continuing his tech maybe as quickly as he could have been otherwise. So these are little things which obviously do add up and come into play as well, right? Little things for us to keep in mind. And Marines come through, quite a lot of those Lings going down again. Solar's gifting a lot of unity in the tail end of this. A lot of Lings trying to do damage and just not really finding anything as Clem stays active with drops around the map. Doing the absolute best he can for the moment as well. Marines, Medevac still moving up to the top. Couple Widow Mines getting set as well as they continue to burrow. Hatchery will go down. Here's another Link counter. Clem is immediately raising the depot. Just wants to get this Widow Mine burrowed would be nice. He's obviously busy elsewhere. The third base is so unprotected. That's big, probably Clem's biggest weak point right now. As he killed 9 drones, so losing 6 SCVs, killing 9 drones. Solar's supply is down, and he's flowing money. I wonder if he actually has lava issues right now as well, just because of it being a hectic game, missing injects. If he has lava issues, that's really bad for him, and part of the reason is going to be because it's still pure Ling Bane. As Hydras come out, they're a little bit more lava efficient, so they use up more lava. Oh, they use up less lava for resources spent, so it will help you with that. But Clem has a supply lead. And upgrades right now have evened out as well. Clem doesn't continue into 3-3. Solar cannot because he doesn't have Hive. As Clem comes pushing forward, a couple Liberators start supporting this position and going to start moving up this ramp. Libs will protect from the flank. This isn't enough bio to really fight here, but he can try and trail the Widow Mines into this army perhaps. Another Link counter attack. Again, this third is the most exposed point for Clem. I just love a bunker. I mean, obviously the wall-off isn't quite set up there. The CC itself starting to go down, has to pull the SCVs to repair and lift it off. Clem at the same time going to try and go for a base himself here. He's going to have a good go of it. Has to lift up, but the Widow Mine does mega damage again. That was well played by Clem. He really let that Widow Mine do that damage because he lifted up as it was setting up to fight, so the Lings clumped as much as possible, avoided friendly fire. That was actually a very cute move from Clem. I do think that was quite much so down to him and how he played it. One of the Liberators falls, the Queens will get rid of it. Bane's still rolling down this ramp, and Clem trading well enough here, I would say. The reinforcing Widow Mines and other units coming in to try and continue helping. Doing as much as they can, and Clem still dropping to the top left. That hatchery, remember, is the one that is low, so it can't really be hit for too long, or Solar will just instantly lose out on it. Vipers on the way. We saw Vipers were huge last time around for Solar. They really did repeatedly deny the medevac count. The medevacs were kept low pretty much throughout, so the Lings will be going down. The Ling Bane and the Hydra there doing what it can as well. Quite the game so far. As the first game was epic, the second game has turned into something quite epic as well, isn't it? Very awesome stuff as a couple Widow Mines go off. Another couple Lings going to try and just set off more mines. There's still another mine there. It starts to get expensive for Clem if he just loses all of his Widow Mines, but he's pushing the top left, and Solar's main army is in this bottom side. In fact, it's all running down the south to deal with a drop or so. He has a few bits of Ling Bane here, but I feel like Clem should have enough. He's actually splitting some down at the bottom. There's Liberators down that bottom side. Looks like Clem will not break through here just yet. A couple Widow Mines not quite getting enough done. And yeah, Clem just getting rid of some creep spread in the center as he continues to push the top side. Solar with lots of Ling Bane on the way is yet to really be able to tech up beyond just Ling Bane Hydra with a couple of Vipers. That's a nice Widow Mine for Solar though. He drags it into the Bio Forces. The friendly fire, of course, is one of the Zerg's best friends. The Widow Mine shot going off. A few of these Banes continue to take some damage here and just going to have the recommitment in. Clem through the top left. We do have a hatchery building from Solar as well on that very northwestern side. Just started, so Clem could probably find a pretty easy cancel there. Obviously, Clem as well, 5 bases set up because he's making use of the forward base. And he can now also try and make use of the upper base as well. So really wants to control the top side of the map. That's extremely important to Clem. If he loses the top side, he loses his mining bases. If he loses those, this game can come crumbling down in seconds. So that's what he has to play. He will see those drones heading top side as well. So he should know that that base is open to being mined. AKA there should be a hatchery on it. So something for him to cancel. Yeah, this base over here is going to go down sooner rather than later, guys. I mean, Solar has to put pretty much everything into defending it. But even when he's just hanging around, it's taking damage at points that can really affect you here. Medevacs load up, escaping away. Still pushing to the upper left-hand side, and it's going to be seeing a couple more Widow Mines going off. And Marines doing everything they can to continue fighting against this. A lot of Lings continue to drop here as well, though. Clem's supply is one that has absolutely plummeted, though. Oh, why is this an orbital command? Clem is in some trouble. Oh, he's going to lose all these SCVs as well. Solar on the counterattack is going to do massive damage. I'm not sure it being a planetary would have completely saved you there, but it might have helped at least a little bit. It was just surprising to see that it was just an orbital more than anything. Clem takes a big loss this time around. Solar getting a much better fight. And that's the sort of fight that Solar needs. Is Clem losing those workers. We'll have to rebuild those. Suddenly doesn't quite have that base where he wants it to be. I guess Clem was just having some orbital issues or CC issues, because he even moved his main base out from the main originally as well. So also problematic, as Clem now will kind of go back to hopefully some smaller fights where he can find good little bits of value without it costing him too much. That's what he needs right now, but Solar might not give him the chance. Clem has the planetary on the top side helping out. The Ling's actually going to be distracted onto the planetary. Now it might go down. SCV's starting to repair it. I can't quite see what's going to happen. Okay, it is going to fall. Clem's still splitting backwards, trying to avoid as many Banes as he can. Banes are still rolling through as well. There's one or two more still left alive in this battle, as Clem gets extra reinforcements over here, but his overall supply has obviously just plummeted in recent times. And it looks as though Solar is very likely to take this to an ace match here for, of course, Onsyde Gaming. Wow. Absolutely just stellar games for StarCraft 2. I have to imagine if this does go to the ace, we're probably seeing Maru versus Clem, right? Bit of TVT. Which I think a lot of people would favor Maru in. I think reasonably so. Maru's TVT is some of the very best out there. Would make a lot of sense. Clem just can't quite have enough stuff right now. He's just not quite got the momentum that he needs anymore. And Solar just finding that one big fight that started in that top left-hand side. Clem is just a little bit too far forward. Couldn't quite deal with that base. Couldn't quite finish it off. That base was just a tap away from dying, which is why we had so much attention put to it. GG's, guys. We're going to an ace match between Onsyde and Liquiad. So, wiggles his head a bit. It's purpley. Maybe it looks more purple because of the blue background. It does match the colors that they play in game, though. That's probably why. Maybe that's how you're meant to tell. Alright, guys. Here it is. The ace match between Onsyde Gaming and Team Liquiad. And no proxy to start us off. Maru was probably meant to win his earlier series duo against Color. If he'd done so, he wouldn't have to be here right now. Oh my god, that's an Onsyde Gaming hoodie. That looks so nice. I was looking at this hoodie earlier from Maru. I was like, man, it looks like a nice, cozy hoodie. It's actually an Onsyde Gaming hoodie. I was like, man, because I was also thinking it's kind of weird he's not wearing his team shirt, you know? It's actually an Onsyde Gaming hoodie. Damn it. They already sent me an Onsyde Gaming package of things. They already sent me an Onsyde Gaming like shirt and hats. I don't think they're going to suddenly send me a hoodie, but the hoodie looks good. Alright. Battle of the hoodies then. Onsyde versus Liquiad. And look at Clem. Reactor first. A greedy opening from Clem. Hard to punish this when you scout it now as Maru, because it just means your first Reaper can go across the map. You'll have a few moments where the you'll have a few moments basically where the Reaper will show up and there's no Reaper of your opponent, but then Clem will have two Reapers on the way. He will outmatch Maru in numbers, and he will start to be strong from there. So there's a very small window where this reactor first is punishable, and the real way to punish this would be proxy racking, right? Then the reactor first is quite horrible. You can see Maru just immediately into a reactor of his own, knowing he's playing a little bit of catch-up here, essentially, and that there's no reason for him not to build the reactor when Clem has already built his. Like I say, Reaper hops up. Short map as well, so that amplifies the length of time that this Reaper is not out from Clem. Is SCVs could pull to repair the hurt SCV here, and will do so, but it goes down, a little awkward. Clem is proxying his starport, which Maru might be able to recognize with that Reaper in the base. The two Reapers now finishing from Clem, though. Maru is forced back. And Clem continues into Reaper Hellion production with the starport coming up. Proxied is absolutely looking to strike quick and early in this game. Is Maru literally just on his way to scout that? Wow, okay. That is horrible for Clem, isn't it? Jeez. Talk about a bit of good game sense. Clem shakes his head a little bit. Is he just going to bring another SCV across to finish it? No, he cancels it. Probably the smart choice. What a great scout from Maru. Just shows you the little things, right? Just knows the possibility. Maybe noticed the timing wasn't there in the main of Clem. And so just backs away from it as Maru just still has to be the defender here because of his later reactor. Yeah, great just bit of positioning to start us out from Maru. Absolutely can't deny that. That was extremely well done. Ooh, what am I? Is going to be taking down a Hellion. I think Clem probably got to get out of here. Oh, good grenade. Nearly gets a Reaper kill because of it. Does get a Reaper kill because of it. Does he have enough now to continue in? He's going to get an SCV. Second Hellion showing up from Maru. More grenades. Helping Clem out a bit. He gets a Hellion. Does he get much more? Maybe. Looks as though it's actually time for Clem to leave. He gets another Hellion showing up. Bit of back and forth. He would love to see what was lost. 3 Reapers for Clem to 2. 1-1 on Hellions. Yeah, basically a Widowmine difference in the game, which was made up by a Reaper kill. Yeah, hard to really put anyone favored because of that. I'm still trying to push up the ramp here and get more done. I feel like this is almost a little desperate from Clem. I mean, it turns out not so bad. It kind of comes out as a fairly even trade again, so really not too bad, I suppose. Well, as Clem will turn around once more here. This time Maru was chasing a couple of Marines showing up. We do get rid of the Hellion. One more Reapers showing up as well. Reapers in these sort of numbers are kind of dangerous, and I feel like Clem probably can't be too happy about this. The fact Maru was still building those extra couple of Reapers. It's almost like a game of chicken. Who stops building Reapers first? Because Reapers are not exactly good later in the game, but during the early skirmishes, they still are pretty decent, right? So you're kind of in a weird place of, do I or don't I want to do this or that? It's genuinely a tough one, honestly. Reapers and the Hellion moving in, and SCVs taking quite a bit of damage here. Uh-oh, this drop from Maru is getting a lot of damage done. I think Clem is in quite some trouble. As, yeah, so many SCVs are just low HP. Clem has nothing to counterattack with himself, so all of this damage is not going to be returned. Clem must have a drop, actually, right? Because he did have a siege tank here previously, so he must have something moving across the map to do some damage. As he drops in Marines and a tank, here come the SCVs pulling in to fight this. Clem will go and relocate elsewhere, and okay, well, there's a lot of work to be done, but it is doable, I suppose. I mean, he needs 23 workers to even this out. Maybe that's not doable with the Marines and tank force. Cyclone gets the lock onto the medevac. It's already boosting away. Clem's Cyclone! Oh god, it's playing a dangerous game, isn't it? He unloads, he's going to try and fight. He micros. The auto turret's going to make it difficult. The auto turret's going to make it very difficult. Clem is just losing out on this micro war big time. As Maru locks onto the medevac. Clem types GG. An absolute micro fest here in this final game. But Maru is going to come out victorious. Maru is going to win the ace match. Maru is going to take it home for Onsyde Gaming.